Incidentally, yes, you did vote. You succeeded in casting your vote. You've appealed to everybody. Just stay calm. Not easy to be calm, exactly when you want to know who eventually won. But today, you were going to comment on this statistics where they talk about what happened previously and now. But today, mixed figures. Even though the chairman says, well, they turned out, but in some words, like that of Mr. Benite, it was kind of low compared to those who registered.
Out of 1,000, just over 250.
Yeah, quite clearly. But I think a lot of people are also there's a belief that a particular candidate has won, and we need to understand. For example, the chairman talked about possible elections that have been concluded in Ekiti. But we also need to understand that among states, all the 36 states that collected PVCs, Ekiti State ranked the lowest. Only 522,000 people had collected PVCs in Ekiti. So Ekiti State isn't a sufficient basis to know who has won this election. And a second mistake we're making as a nation is to also look at what is happening on the social media. And because I like numbers, I'm going to look at the internet access rate around each state in the country. And what you will find out is that there are only 3 locations where internet access is above 10%, Abuja, Lagos, and Rivers. So it clearly means most of the discussions on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, on Instagram about which of the candidates has won and lost is clearly coming from these 3 locations, Lagos, Abuja, and Rivers, largely from these 3 locations. So I don't think I'm comfortable using the opinion of just 3 locations to determine the sentiments of 36 locations. So I think we need to be a bit more moderate and wait for what turns out tomorrow. Hopefully, we'll get the results late into the night tomorrow, which we'll be all here to discuss. But because there's so much agitation as to who would likely win, we'll try and spend some time between today and tomorrow to make some balanced forecast about what has happened historically and what most likely may happen based on historical trends.
All right, maybe when that slide is ready, we will go to it in some of what you described as the mythical four, but we'll come to that in just a moment. Okay, I understand it's ready, so we might as well just go to it. Is there any significance whatsoever? I know maybe those mythologists may believe in it, but what's the significance of this election in terms of numbers for you?
For me, there are a lot of ways to look at it, but what is interesting is to look at what the Greek mythology says about politics and elections. And according to Greek mythology, the most important number when it comes to elections is the number 4. And we have so many cases of where the number 4 plays out. The world's largest economy, the United States, gained independence on it happened July 4. Presently, you only have 4 American presidents that have been assassinated. Abraham Lincoln, James Garfield, William McKinley, and John F. Kennedy. And you also only have 4 former presidents of America that are alive. Bill Clinton, George Bush Jr., George Bush Sr., and Jimmy Carter. And the number 4 also plays a quite significant role in our own elections, as it seems. We're in the 4th Republic. One of the contestants is running for the 4th time. One of the contestants is popular by his 4 names. And even if you look at the history of everybody, even if you can get the slides on so we can get viewers to understand what the number 4 means to everybody.
It will.
Now,
the mythical 4.
Now, what you will find out is across all birthdays of all former presidents of Nigeria, you will not find the number 4 as well. We start with the very first president, Nnamdi Azikiwe. He was born on November 16. And then you had Ironsi, who was born on March 3. After Ironsi, you had Yakubu Gowon, who was born on October 19. And after Yakubu Gowon, we then had Muritala Muhammad, who was born on November 8. And then we then had OBJ, who was born on March 5. Now, after OBJ, we then had... Officially. after OBJ, we had Shehu Shagari. Shehu Shagari was born on February 25.
Let's put it on the big screen so we can all see it. Yeah. Yeah, yes, we can see it, but let's see it on so that we all can look at it. Yes, go ahead.
Now, clearly, once you look at all these days of all former presidents, right from Nnamdi Azikiwe to the current president, you'll see numbers like 1, you'll see the number 0, you'll see the number 2, you'll see the number 3, you'll see 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The only number that is missing from everyone that has governed in this, that has been head of state or president, the only number that is missing is the number 4. And you find out that the number 4 is also at this moment probably the most crucial. Like I've said, we're in the Fourth Republic. The election is happening where one candidate is running for the 4th time. One of the other candidates as well has 4 strong names that has influenced a lot of his victory. Even for the US, we find a significant amount of number 4. So I think this also just concludes for us in one way that this election is going to be very, very special.
Does this mean that 4 is a special number to look at when the mythologists, as you say it, 4, how can I cannot understand this. Could you explain what 4 means?
Now, 4 in most times is either a dangerous number or it's a lucky number. In the US, we found out that 4 has been a dangerous number and has been a lucky number. So you have only 4 presidents that have died. You also have only 4 former presidents that are alive. They also gain independence on the 4th. For Nigeria, no president has had the number 4 on his birthday, right from 1914. Even if you look at the history we have from 1960 post-independence, from Nnamdi Azikiwe to the current president, we have all other numbers,
okay.
But the number 4 is the only missing number.
So the missing number now pops up in for the US, July 4. Take us through that one. What's the significance in that case?
Now, for July 4, what you have is the world's largest economy also probably was able to get to that status because of the special 4 number that the day they gained their independence. So we can see how 4 has been significant according to Greek mythology on the United States. So they have the number 4 working for them on that size. They've also had number 4 working for them when it comes to presidents that are still alive. Unfortunately, the number 4 worked against them when it comes to assassination. For us, the number 4 is working for us at a time where we say we're in the Fourth Republic as well. The elections that are going to be the most keenly contested is happening. One of the candidates is running for the 4th time. One of the other candidates is also very special. He's 57. He was born in 1957. So we have so many things that make this election quite special, makes this period very special. Whatever happens as well in this election, if the candidate that is current president continues, that will be a very special moment. If the candidate that is there doesn't continue, that's also going to be a very special moment.
Okay, because many are listening to say, okay, let me see. What are they talking about? This saying my candidate will win or my candidate will lose. What's the advantage or disadvantage for my
Now,
candidate?
for them, it simply means there's a possibility that their candidate will win, and there's also a possibility that their candidate will lose. I'll give you another very quick scenario. If you even go to the Bible, in Proverbs 30:24, it talks about creatures that are small, yet so wise. Only 4 creatures: the ant, the lizard, the rock badger, and the lizard. And if you're a Muslim, if you go to the Quran and you look at Surah 4:3, it talks about the maximum number of wives a man can have. What number will you find there? 4. Now, there are so many interesting permutations. And a part of it is quite serious. A part of it is for us to understand that there's some other mythological things regarding this election.
Don't tell me that the fact that it says, maybe GT can corroborate this, where the law says that whoever wins must get, what, 25% of the total votes cast?
Which is a quarter.
And then if we have 6 geopolitical zones,
Exactly.
they have to win 4.
4. Now, you know what
to
is
win 4 of the 6. That makes sense.
Is that correct?
No, that's not correct. What is correct for the presidential election, referencing section 132.
Not 34?
No. Section 132, section 4A. Check that out. Or 134, subsection 2A.
Yeah, I thought it was
134, subsection 2A. It talks about 1/4 And so if you align
25%.
that with his number 4, 1/4, which is 25%
So
of the vote.
some sort of
Yes, it's four. You still see for there.
But the four
One quarter of the vote, at least 1/4 or 25% of the votes cast, total votes cast in at least 2/3 of the states, including the Federal Capital Territory.
No, Chamberlain.
That's what it says.
The interesting thing is, now, just as is also said, the section of the Constitution is 134. but you know, the most interesting thing, and I find it a rather strong coincidence. In the build-up to this election, one of the candidates had so much controversy on his certificates. And then what then came out of this entire issue was we had this candidate releasing a statement of results, which everybody said the statement of results was different from a certificate. But what I find interesting is if you look at the statement of result that was released and you look at his admission number, do you know the number you will find there? 134. The same number that talks about the Constitution is 134, and the same admission number of this candidate on his released statement of results is 134. So I find that a very strong coincidence. I think it is something that we should investigate a bit more closely because there are a lot of soft things this might reveal to us. But again, even the current president has so many other numbers that is working for him, which we probably will discuss as we continue with the studio.
All of a sudden, I'm beginning to see 4 things.
Okay, we got 4 cups.
We got 4 cups as well.
Is this Greek numerology or what?
Well, thank God we're not the Greeks.
But somehow it's popping up in most of the things that is connected with these elections. But the thing about it is that, I mean, everyone is so involved in these elections and to the extent that they're all just waiting to see. But yes, we've talked about, I think someone spoke about that this was a victory for Nigerians in terms of how we conducted ourselves. Not many thought that, well, you could have that amount of serenity, calmness in the face of the introduction of the card readers. But on the whole, the wait continues. And so far, apart from a few cases of skirmishes here and there, on the whole, are we taking a step in advance and progressing so far?
We are. We actually are. I mean, for me, the last time we were here, we were concerned about the card reader and the process. And I think what I was quite impressed by when I got to the point of where we were doing the accreditation, I was watching the faces of the people. You could see anticipation. People were like, okay. People say, this is better. Okay. Everybody was interested. You didn't see people say, card reader. Where did I bring and come from? No. Nigerians are not ready for card reader. Everybody was ready for this card reader. It looked as if the card reader was a magic for the real election. So Nigerians embraced technology, and that was quite impressive. Because I had Malams amongst us who, what they did, they banded themselves together and they were showing each other how you make sure you do this, you do that. But everybody was totally informed to a certain degree and they were ready to embrace it. So I think we're progressing and we're getting better.
Incidentally, now that you're saying this, it just occurred to me. Who even told us that the card reader was not a driver of participation? Just by sheer curiosity.
Yes.
What is new in this election? Card reader. I'm going there to,
Exactly.
So it can be fun. It can be interesting. And that's why it's said that election is a festival of democracy. It's a ritual. And it ought to be something that we can all enjoy without violence. Yeah.
And can we even also say that because now that people actually went there, some also suggested that because they are of the impression that this time my vote will count. So they want to go and participate. So maybe the next elections, you may even have more people going on to participate.
No, I think the governor's elections will be much more.
And again, if you ask me, what also served as motivation was also the card reader. What gave people the impression that their vote will count now, other than in the past when they felt that their vote will not count? Card reader. So,
but where she voted?
I think ours is that a lot of people moved. Because I lived in a particular estate, I had to drive in from somewhere else at 5:30. I got there at 6 exactly and stayed with a friend. But I think a lot of people also moved because I noticed the faces of the people who I was familiar with at 2011 were not there. and some people traveled. There were a few elites who said, please, why you guys are...
They traveled for the Easter holiday,
No,
perhaps?
no, not the Easter holiday. Some people just checked out and said, let me be away when things are happening.
Think
But
they traveled
VGC,
because they felt their safety was being
I mean,
undermined?
friends of mine. But in
Did
VGC...
they travel because they felt?
I
that
don't
they-
know. I can't be sure. But a few of them did travel. People actually predicted trouble. They felt that there would be trouble, and they wanted to be far away from the trouble.
You
But
think they've been disappointed so far?
VGC voted till 4 a.m.
Do you think they've been disappointed?
I think they would be disappointed because at the end of the day, the stories that are going on in the Facebook, everybody is excited. I went there, I did it. Even when he didn't read, they gave me X. And I think also the president, we must recommend him, commend him, as it were. He was calm. Whatever happened there, he himself showed that calmness. And I think it sent a message that, look, my fingerprinting was not read. Madam First Lady was not read. We are calm. We are waiting. So that sense of even leadership showing calmness also spread through. People were waiting online. My friend voted at 8 p.m. in VGC. And people were still on the line. I heard that VGC finished about 4 a.m. They insisted that they would vote.
And that's significant for elites. Really. Because in the past, and I'm not saying this as an indictment of the elite, there's this fixation that you get all the votes in poor neighborhoods where you have people that could be bought with some naira notes, and then you get them to come and vote. Canvassers who encourage them and all that. No, this time around, friends that I have, highly placed persons in society, in Lekki, everywhere.
They came out.
They voted into the night.
Yeah.
What will be the
And
darkest
even
moment?
here,
What will
even
be
here, around this neighborhood,
Yeah.
people still voted today.